Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I want to share with you one of the best books that I have read in a while. It is Damon Galgut's The Promise. Now many of you may know that this book won the Booker Prize in 21, and sometimes when a book wins the Booker Prize it can detract an audience as much as attract it. There can be a feeling that perhaps the book that wins the Booker Prize is a very intimidating piece of literary fiction, probably quite inaccessible and patronisingly intellectual. Please don't think that of this book. This book is sublime. It is perfection in its execution, and its themes are necessary and beautiful, and I really recommend it to everyone. What Damon gives us is the breakup of a family, a small family, nuclear family that lives on a farm outside Pretoria, told over 4 decades from the 1980s through to the present day. It charts the disintegration of this nuclear family, but also fundamentally its broken promise to its black servant Salom. So where we start, this is a white family in 1980s Pretoria. The matriarch of the family is dying, and the rest of the errant family are brought together for the first time in a long time to come together as the family to mourn the passing, to witness the death of their mother, but also to mourn her passing. The family consists of Ma, who is Rachel, who is dying, her very seemingly loyal husband, who stays by her bedside, and their 3 children, Anton, Astrid, and the younger Amor, through whose eyes this story is largely told. Young Amor at the beginning of the book has been pulled out of school because her mother is so unwell. What she witnesses when she gets home is her mother ask her father to fulfill a dying wish, and that is to pass the farm and its plot to their long-term serving servant Salom. So where Amor witnesses this promise, and she witnesses her father agree to the promise. What is then charted over the next 4 decades is the breaking of that promise, and how South Africa unfolds and the fate of these remaining 4 family members unfolds after the death of their mother. What it is, it's working on a lot of levels, because yes, this family starts to break their promise to Salom. They start to betray the dying wish of their mother, but also this is a commentary on the breaking of the promise to Black South Africa. Because obviously, of course, from the 1980s onwards, we witnessed a profound social and cultural change in South Africa, the dismantling of apartheid, the freeing of Mandela, and the challenges that the new South Africa has to face, endure, and try to overcome. All that is mirrored in the collapse of this farm and the broken promise to Salom. What is wonderful about this book is that it's not heavy. It glides over these 4 decades, but yet in its glide it also centers down on 4 remaining very complex characters. Amor, who grows up obviously over the 4 decades, and we see how she grows up and grows away from her family. She becomes the moral center of this story. She is committed to fulfilling her mother's dying wish. What we witness in her father and her older brother and her older sister is how South Africa ends up in a very blurred grey area, as these 3 other characters also end up in blurred grey areas. We have the perversion of Christianity and the exploiters of people's religious beliefs. We have the commentary on what it must have been like to serve in the South African army, particularly the White Army, as it is asked to violently suppress and kill protesting Black South Africans. And it also is the moral ambiguity of a South Africa that emerges where there is a profound difference between the well-off and those that are not well-off. Damon does this in exquisite execution, and why it works is because I know I've commented with other books, the characters are all as fascinating as the plot. Yes, you could take something as heavy and as big a subject as the new South Africa, and it can be really overwrought and emotional and hard going and passionate and all of those things. Yet he brings all of the injustices and all of the hopes of this new South Africa into this book with real depth and real craft, and he centers all of that in to these characters. Indeed, with Rachel herself, the matriarch, 5 complex characters of what was a very unhappy family that all try and make their way in the world with a different outlook and with different outcomes. And I couldn't recommend this book more. It's not huge. Sometimes the Booker Prize winners can be huge, but oh my goodness, it is sublime. It is a beautiful book that really looks at what it is to make a promise, what constitutes that promise, and how a commitment to fulfilling that promise can be a lifetime's work. Beautiful. Damon Galgut's The Promise.